I listened to a podcast last night.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Inside Gaming Daily for Tuesday. As you all know, we don't have a thing for Tuesday. Come up with a bad pun.
This is a bad start. I was mid-story.
Connor, we started the show. Can you please get back on track?
More like game steaming pile of crap. Google Stadia has been out for more than 2 months now, and it's no secret that it's had a rough launch.
Yeah, that's like saying the Titanic had a bad detection system for icebergs. I mean, it did. It was a guy, right?
Dude. Too soon.
Some say a captain.
Too soon. Come on.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about Stadia's problems, its lack of features, lack of games, buggy gameplay.
Those are all my favorite things.
Yeah, it's pretty much the holy trifecta for a crappy video game platform and the things Patrick likes. Finally, the features everyone's been asking for.
Hooray.
Garbage.
Zach, you're a huge Stadia fan. Why don't you tell us about these other fans?
Good.
Wow,
really good.
Great toss. Yeah, as a devoted Stadiaite, there's still a base of us fans who've stuck by Stadia. They're all determined to wring out some joy of their $130 controller bundles. This like makes me sad to say. Yeah, these people will outlive us all in the apocalypse by the sheer will to make life work for them. But it's sad, but in a weird way, I do respect these people. I think that they're like the orchestra on the Titanic that just kind of played it out all the way down.
What's with these Titanic jokes?
Gentlemen, it's been
Who
an
wrote
honor.
all these Titanic jokes?
I don't know, but they're just like the same people. Like they resign themselves to they're like the old couple that went to sleep into bed.
The odd couple?
You know what it is?
The old couple that like let the water just rush over them and they're like, we're gonna die with some dignity.
What people are you talking about?
The old people in Titanic that there's the shot of the water. Like,
There were no old people on Titanic. It was a cruise for teens. Don't believe the media telling you that there were old people on the Titanic.
As I toss back to you, let me say, gentlemen, it's been an honor gaming with you.
And now we mime orchestrating and put orchestra music at the end.
Because we're playing the theme song to Tron Legacy as I go down with the shit.
Fellas,
Wait, we can't play that. It's copyrighted. When I was a kid, I couldn't afford a Game Boy. My parents weren't about to buy me one, so I got a Tiger Electronics R-Zone. And I wanted it to be cool, but no, everything is red on it.
Patrick was the kid running around the grocery store with the scanners.
I had one.
I know, they're awesome.
I had one.
I had that and I had a Pox, the green Pox.
you know how I feel about poor people. Now, I had a Guitar Hero that was bought from Macy's with only 3 neck buttons, and it had like a full second of latency. But now even some of the most diehard Stadia fans are starting to say that they've had enough. Yes, on top of all the problems Stadia has had, even its early adopters are fed up. And trust me, if you're making this fan base upset, people who have figuratively trudged through concrete for the past 2 to 3 months since Stadia's launch, oh God, you're really it up.
So all
it's like pissing off a baby. It doesn't even know how to be mad yet.
So all of this started in a post yesterday on the Stadia subreddit, which has more than 56,000 members, which I assume is 99.9% of Stadia's player base. User Gazoogle compiled a list of all their complaints in a post, and it was kind of a call to arms for Stadia players, along with a pretty comprehensive rundown of unfulfilled promises. It's like sitting down and listing out all the complaints you have about your life. You can't come back from seeing that 50-page list.
Only 50.
I have one complaint.
That's not enough.
It's the driving force that keeps me like, bust more.
Even the title was pretty incriminating. It was called Stadia has officially gone 40 days without a new game announcement / release feature update or a real community update. It has been out for 69 days. Nice, it's time we demand better.
Yeah, here to tell you about Stadia. Yeah, you can see how they're all feeling pretty neglected. I mean, come on, Google, 69 nice days, and you aren't even gonna give the absolute greatest fans ever just a little treat, a little for their troubles, a little something to tide them over. I don't know, like anything you promised. I don't know. Gazoogle also pointed out that Stadia's 3-month trial period is almost over. After that, Stadia Pro members will start having to pay $10 a month for the service. And while there's supposed to be a free membership level called Stadia Base,
Stop it.
it's supposedly coming down the horizon. Google hasn't actually mentioned anything about it in a while, so.
Weird. It's so
Bizarre.
weird.
That seems like a main tenet
yeah.
of the service.
Stadia Base coming soon.
Yeah, there's a Stadia boss shivering in the corner of his office saying over and over, maybe if I never bring it up again, they'll forget.
He walks through the halls of Google, it's like, how's Stadia going? What?
So what are the complaints? Well, one of the biggest is games. A pretty important thing for a game streaming service. Google have said they've got 120 coming this year, but January's almost over. Google still hasn't said what they are.
Coming to Google Stadia, Pong. Oh, that poor executive just hiding out underneath his desk, clutching onto his laptop. It's like, please God, let them forget. I haven't seen my wife in months. Stadia! 120 great games. Cool. Well, we don't know what any of them are, but they're video games, presumably.
I love video games.
Yeah, me too. That's why I make this show with you guys. This is sounding like one of those old combo packs that had 30 games in a single NES cartridge, and they were all made by one college student who got paid 50 cents a game.
If my math is correct, that is $15?
Do you remember that infomercial game console? There was like commercials for this handheld game console. It was essentially a calculator.
Is that the thing where you put it on the side of a bucket and the water doesn't come out?
No, that's
Gator
Gator
wires
Golf.
crossed?
You're thinking of Gator Golf.
Don't wake daddy and he's got a gun in his hand.
High stakes, don't wake daddy.
There, you little piece of
Don't wake daddy.
Do not wake
Please don't wake daddy. Daddy came home really late from the bar last night. I heard screaming from my bedroom. I don't know what was going on out there, but dude, do not wake daddy.
Yeah, you can come over to play, but there's one rule at my house.
Do not wake father.
Please don't wake daddy.
For the love of God.
I should have never had you!
What time is it, son? I told you not to do this anymore. Pizza's not for breakfast. Despite Stadia advertising itself as a service you can play anywhere, that's still not really the case, especially when it comes to phones. The only ones that work with Stadia are the Pixel phones, and there's been no mention of iOS. As an office of Pixel heads, we demand better for our fellow phone carriers. I feel so disingenuous saying that.
I have a new one coming today. I bought a OnePlus 7 Pro.
Anyway,
that's
Google
Sprint only sports the 5G
hasn't talked
version
about
of it.
family sharing, or like we said earlier, the free Stadia base option. Connor.
Cool. So, does Google think we have goldfish memories or something?
I do.
They know something about the coronavirus that we don't know?
Oh.
Or are we waiting for it to wipe out most of us and then they can just yell psych over a post-apocalyptic wasteland and then they hang out in their bunker and they play 12 games, or 27 now, I think.
Possible. There's also still no support for 4K gaming on a web browser. And there's almost no functionality for the assistant button on the controller.
Oh boy! What am I gonna do without my Google Assistant while I game?
Yeah, and the wireless controller isn't functional with all devices yet. Great.
Just really good.
Yeah,
You guys know
Come on,
we
guys.
have one, remember?
Aren't you the biggest company in the world? Gazoogle wrapped up by saying, quote, I don't think it's absurd to expect anything other than complete radio silence from a hyped product/service launch that had a $130 buy-in. Google, these people have asked for nothing from you. Expectations have never been lower. The least you could have done is talk to them.
You don't even have to do what you say you would. Just talk. And lots of people agreed. The post shot to the top of the Stadia subreddit with more than 8,000 upvotes, and the top commenters all voiced their own frustrations with Stadia! User Voodoo Jenkins replied, man, I really wish they advertised this as some kind of paid beta. They oversold and underdelivered. This person still would have paid for it. It just needed to be delivered in a different way.
Yeah, another Redditor, Insomniac, suggested that Google extend the trial period for another 3 months. They wrote, we have no info, no news, nothing basically about games, and absolute radio silence from them. And it's been a month since Christmas. Feels like the project is already dead.
Zach, what did some others say?
Some like 0101 said they probably won't continue their subscription. They wrote, I hate being all doom and gloom about Stadia. I was excited about it and I bought into the service, but I'd be lying if I said things looked good for the future. Probably will just chalk this up to a bad purchase on my part and move on. That's honestly the most honest take of it. If there's gonna be one statement that's on the tombstone of Stadia, that's kind of its epitaph right there.
It was a loss and we moved on.
Yeah.
Others mentioned that they're quitting because of a lack of deals or there aren't any games they're interested in. And some games, like NBA 2K20, apparently don't have all the features that are available in other versions.
Damn, this sounds like just a straight up mutiny. It's never good when Redditors start picking up the pitchfork, a very well-deserved pitchfork in this case.
It's like hard-earned pitchfork.
Yeah. Son?
This is the family pitchfork
You're
and I
a
want you
man
to
now.
take it. But father, you told me never to wake you.
If we go down the path of like a child talking to his father, we will be here
yeah.
for 17 hours.
And some people are already wondering if this lack of communication is a sign that Google might already be giving up on Stadia.
Yeah, because Google does have a long history of starting projects with a lot of fanfare and then abandoning them. There's Google Plus, Google Wave, Google Glass, Google Allo, Project Tango, Google Portfolios, Google Spaces, Google Nexus. Well, you get the idea.
Yeah, a big reason for the Reddit post was to get Google's attention. Hey, give us a sign, any sign, and lo and behold, it worked, sorta. Zach, you've been a community manager. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what community manager Grace from Google had to say?
Oh, please, one of my kind. Yeah, Grace from Google responded by saying, all the concerns you've brought to the table are completely valid, and I understand where your frustrations are coming from. Nobody likes to be left in the dark. While I don't have product updates to share right at this second, I can promise you that I have been and will continue taking feedback posted to our Stadia and other channels back to the Stadia team. The old, we're listening, but we have nothing new to share post.
Definitely made up by one person and not decided on and written by 25.
This is literally the definition of like shooting the messenger. I'm like, this person didn't even come
poor
close
lady.
to composing this. This has been written by 25 people in Salesforce. This is not her fault.
Well, a bit later in the day, Google actually did make a Stadia announcement. Well, tiny teensy little one. They said they were adding 2 new free games to Stadia Pro next month, Metro Exodus and a timed exclusive named Guilt. They should make an exclusive called Buyer's Remorse. Oh!
But it's not actually a game, it's just the Stadia you already have. Yeah, now obviously this is just one post on Reddit, but the fact that it blew up indicates that a lot of people feel the same way.
And the fact that the diehards might be jumping ship after just a few months is really bad news for Google.
Obviously, the subreddit is only a slice of Stadia's player base, but a service like Stadia is going to depend on word of mouth, and these are ideally the people who are going to tell their friends about Stadia if they like it.
Yeah, we've seen other fan bases though hang in when times are rough, right, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, No Man's Sky had a pretty dedicated core group of players who stuck with the game through the lean times, and they ultimately were rewarded with a series of really good updates. That subreddit's now up to more than 300,000 people.
Star Citizen also has had a hardcore group of people who are sticking with the project. That's another.
Guys.
Yeah.
Folks.
Hey, even though there's still no release date in sight.
Yeah, I guess you may want to nurture that group of loyal doofuses because they're going to be the ones who stick with you. They're like regulars at a bar.
You know they're alcoholics and you're
you
not
know-
doing them any good, but
They're also providing
they're also
your
all you
401k.
have. The entire livelihood is dependent on their addictions.
You're all there on Christmas Eve.
So yeah, time is running out for Google.
TikTok, Google. Yeah, if Google's gonna do something, they need to do it quickly because their player base has already spent $130 on the service. Or non-service.
Now Google needs to start proving why they need to keep paying $10 a month, and that's gonna be a tough sell when there are services like Game Pass on Xbox One that offer so much more value.
Yo.
Same price.
Yeah.
Same price
Yeah.
on multiple platforms already. So yeah, there are other streaming services as well, right, Zach?
Yeah, other streaming services like Project xCloud are on the way, and as we've reported, there are already more than 80 games on that service, which absolutely smokes Stadia's library.
hotcha.
And Project xCloud, remember, is still a free beta.
Yep.
So like basically doing everything correctly that Stadia did incorrectly.
Gotta love.
It's almost as if Microsoft had a disastrous launch a few years ago and learned their
from
lesson.
So look forward to Stadia Series X. Stadia had the benefit of being the first out of the gate, but if you're gonna be first, you need to make a big splash.
Yep.
Stadia didn't do that, and now it's paying the price. I guess it made a big splash, but it accidentally directed it all on the karaoke machine that someone brought to the birthday
Yes.
party
It made a
next
big
to the
splash,
pool.
but the pool was drained and they just dived
Just-
from like a 50-foot high dive
Just
onto
ceramic
concrete.
and tile just spraying out like
splash
shrapnel.
was them exploding.
Exactly.
Yeah. Please don't wake Daddy.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Inside Gaming Daily for Monday. Let's all clap a little bit for the beginning of the week. I'm gonna tell everyone a little secret. We're not actually here today. Ooh, it's a holiday. Ooh, this is us from the past. Are you getting scared?
Whoa! Yeah, happy MLK Day, everybody. We're gonna talk about Google